Is it possible that the writers are misdirecting us for a surprise twist to what happened to Famous? I noticed a key moment in this episode that might have spoiled their true plan for the actual person that did it. I think that it's highly possible that that person just might be. What's going on, everyone? Just Be here, and I am super excited to be breaking down the biggest moments from Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 4 Episode 5, titled The Nail That Sticks Up. This one was certainly a very heavy episode, and it's one of those chef's kiss kind of bittersweet episodes of Power that you love but also hate to love it at the same time as well. I want us to dive into this as quickly as possible so that we get to the meat of what happened, so I can share with you guys what I think you need to be paying attention to next. So we're breaking this down right now. Let's go. So this episode starts off unlike any other episode that we have seen within the Power franchise, with a flashback to a never-before-seen situation regarding Famous and his family. We see younger Famous, his mom, and Jess being abused by their mom's boyfriend, but particularly Famous, who is continuously in his target, and it's just heartbreaking to watch this play out, honestly. Particularly knowing how after that they escape and end up at a shelter, then grow up in South Jamaica, Queens, creating his inevitable friendship with Jukebox and Kanan, and then for us to then see how last season he was treated by Kanan as well. Thinking about how he was this sweet, innocent kid that just wanted to help his family and friends, get turned on them one by one, eventually to where he is isolated, even though he ends up reconciling with his mom eventually. It's a real moving and emotional story. Well, we come to understand that Famous's mother has been visiting the precinct for a while now and trying to report to Detective Garcia that Famous was missing, to which he continuously shrugged it off. Later on, we are taken to this convenience store with characters to whom we'd never met before. And just to insert this right here, because I know this has been coming up a lot on different conversations since this episode came out, no, that kid is not young Ghost, and the owner was not Angela's father. You gotta ask yourselves the question, why would we introduce the biggest character in the Power universe, who is to carry the franchise into Power Origins? Hopefully we still get that, by the way. But why would they introduce him so inconspicuously and with no foresight? I mean, even Ronnie was introduced with a bigger announcement on and off screen than that. So anyways, just putting that in there. So this kid steals from the store owner and runs off, and he's chased by him to where they slide into this abandoned building to hide, and uncovers a decayed and decomposed body under a mattress by them both, which stops the chase. We later come to understand that this is in fact Famous after his body is shown to his mother by Detective Garcia in the morgue, to which she just bursts out in tears. Her baby boy, whom she loved more than anything in the whole world and tried so desperately to protect from a life of the streets, crime, bad company, you name it, dead and gone, to what she can only presume the worst. Even though I predicted this in my last video, to see it happen so fast and the way in which it was done, it's truly sad. I'll be honest with you guys. It's crazy because when we were introduced to the trio of Famous, Kanan, and Jukebox in 2021 when the show first premiered, to see how they've now lost the heart and soul of their friend group, man, that's tough to watch, man. I haven't felt a Power death like this since Ghost, to be honest. And it's just one of those things. But let me know how you guys feel about Famous's death, and what do you think is some of the things that played into this? But I want to share some things with you guys in a second that I think you need to be looking at. We see in this episode where Unique meets with Phil Russo, who is another player in the Italian scene, presumably, after Sal Baselli's widow gives him the connection in the previous episode. So he wants Phil to back him so that he can make his return to operations and then reveal himself as alive. Phil tells him that he might be misguided in how he's going about things because Phil is well connected and hasn't seen or heard of any evidence or any rumblings that Rock was responsible for what happened to him, to which Unique sharply disagrees. And here's the thing about it. He's not listening to reason, and that's going to be his downfall if he's not careful. We all know that he's just blinded by rage and is confused as well. And he later on reveals himself as alive to Quan, who was his former connect before a rock came in and swooped it up. And they apparently had a great relationship, as Quan speaks very highly of him and missing their relationship when he was talking to Rock one-on-one. We also see Unique had managed to lock Kanan's soldier OC in as a snitch as well when he ran up into his spot to rob him. And so now we see the result of that exchange. He's brought him on and is secretly using him for info and threatening him as well. So I'm curious to see where they head with this story, because with Unique, I don't think they brought him back just to get rid of him again, albeit it wouldn't be the first time this has happened in Power. A little difference here is that if you remember when older Kanan and Ghost first fought in the original Power, and Kanan was believed to have been dead, but then he stuck around for, another 3 seasons before he was deleted for real. And so there's a bigger story at play here, and I would predict and say that Unique becomes Quan's guy again, and likely ends up in business with Kanan at some point after he breaks off from Rock and they partner together. I think Rock will probably end up getting into business with Hafiz, but then she has no soldiers. So we'll see how that ends up going there. Now, for me, there's 2 candidates that I suspect for Famous's murder. The location in which Famous's body was found was too sloppy and seems rushed. I'm looking at Unique and Marvin. Now, Unique, because of the major gaps in time and memory he has that is unaccounted for. Now, Marvin also has a habit of leaving bodies like this as well, and we've seen this happen this season. He just kind of leaves them there, right? Sometimes not cleaning them up. I think we've seen this happen a few times so far this season. So my suspicions are still on him as well as a likely candidate. But we know that Raising Kanan has a habit of surprising us and throwing curveballs our way, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't somehow make it. Watch it now. Walk with me, guys. If they made Jukebox the killer for some reason. Follow me here for a second. I'll explain this a little bit further in a minute. When Mama Thomas has a fall at home and calls Kanan and Juke, they end up rushing her to the hospital, where most of them come to see her and are made aware of things getting progressively worse. And she'll need some kind of home nurse to look after her. And her issue was that she was worrying how she didn't have the finances to do that, yet alone the ambulance to even get to the hospital. But we all know that the family has that money to be able to take care of it, even though she might disagree with the source in which it comes from, if she knows what they actually truly do, which I'm sure she probably does. So we see her trying to convince Marvin eventually while she's in the hospital to use a drug that she got from the nurses to help her speed up her termination time, as she doesn't want to go through all the pain anymore. And Marv ponders it for a while, but ultimately he couldn't do it when it came down to it. And man, the way she talks to him afterwards, it really gives you insight into how mad disrespectful she is. And you can see firsthand maybe the kind of abuse they likely went through as kids growing up with her as their mother. And so here's an example of it. Sweet, innocent lady making dinner one day, and the next day, just telling you you're just sorry, So that's probably why in a lot of ways they're so, as kids when they grow up, they're calloused and desensitized emotionally to a lot of things, and maybe why they're so comfortable being in the life is because of her. Hold on real quickly. You guys want to see something crazy? Over 99% of you guys that watch my content are not subscribed. So I'm asking real quickly, if you don't mind, just hit the like button and hit subscribe real quickly. I'd love to keep on giving this content to you guys, and lets me know that people actually are interested. Feel free to do that, man. Really appreciate it a lot. Would help me out a long way in growing my small channel. Thanks. Now back to the video. And lastly, we see Jukebox and Marv in the fallout of her deleting her friend's husband to save her father. She seems to be largely unfazed by the fact that she took a life. So when Marv asks her how she's doing, she's just cold with it and says it was you or him, and it was convenient as the police thinks it's a robbery, and as far as she's concerned, her friend is safe. So she believes that they did, and I quote, she said, a good thing. Walk with me for a second. Marv tells her that he believes that the army training she was in got her comfortable with deleting, and she tells him that if she's comfortable, it's not because of the army, but she hints directly that it's because of him and the family, which again makes me think. Now, I'm not putting it out there as a prediction because I don't want people to come back here and say, oh, you're putting out bogus predictions. I study and I analyze, and I can only go based off of the evidence given to me, behind the scenes things I'm reading, and also what I'm seeing on screen play out. I'm just saying it makes me think about Famous. In any murder, there has to be means, motive, and opportunity. In the last few minutes of the season 3 finale, if you guys go back and watch that, everyone is almost accounted for except for Jukebox. She has a huge gap of time where the last thing she was seen was watching TV and being inspired by that army commercial that comes on. After that, we know Lou is in rehab, and then we know Marv, Rock, Kanan, Ronnie, Detective Howard were all dealing with what they were dealing with. So within this block of time, we have to now consider, is this the range in which Famous was taken out? If it is, because there was a lot of gaps of things that could have happened after the fact. She had more opportunity than anyone else. But again, like I say, I don't know about the mean and the motive part of it. So I'll leave that alone for right now. I'll let you guys ponder that. And let's discuss in the comments to see how that might play out as a possibility. But that's my breakdown for the episode, guys. Really, really bittersweet. And I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's a necessary thing to do to progress the story and keep you emotionally invested, particularly for us as the fans. But it's just sad to see one of the OGs go down like that. But I imagine we'll continue to see more of these as we're heading into the rest of the season and then inevitably the last season as well. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let's have the conversation in the comments, guys. Like, let me know if you think I'm off. Do you think I'm crazy here? Do you think I'm on to something? Let's talk about it. And if you derived any value from this breakdown, listen, show your boy some love, man. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, peace.